Flooding continues to wreak havoc across several parts of the country as heavy rains persist, displacing families and disrupting livelihoods. Judicial Service Commission nominates Justice Mohamed Warsame to the Supreme Court after a rigorous vetting process. Justice Warsame now ages closer to the country's apex court. And Kenya's marathon sensation Sebastian Sawe returns home to a hero's welcome after his historic victory at the London Marathon. Jubilant crowds thronged JKIA to celebrate his triumphant homecoming. More of these and a lot more from the headlines will be coming your way in a short while. Do stand by. This is TV 47 Breakfast.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning. You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako.
Hamna pesa. I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimewekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Ikakunyoma.
Oh my God. You left me. Nitumie ni line.
Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? Hi-Fi?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tangulini kero umeka kwa beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
You won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man-child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV 47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Booyah! We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV 47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair.
It was hers.
Right. right, it is the 30th of April, the very last day of this month. Karibu sana. This is a TV47 Breakfast. We're here to update you on the biggest news. Of course, matters economy given prominence on the dailies, but we'll be looking at that later. A lot more in store. Given the highlights, Sebastian Sawe came back, and that was a beautiful image at the JKIA when that plane carrying this great athlete was given water salute when it landed at the JKIA. That and a lot more we'll be discussing here. And be sure to interact with us on all our social media pages, TV47 Kenya, across Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where we're streaming live. Elsewhere?
Umesema gani na gani? Hujasema gani?
Tumebakisha to X.
TV47 Digital on X. My handle is at @Ann_Dida. Be sure to tag us.
Yes.
So that we can also, sample your feedback right here in the course of this broadcast. It's Day of the Child today. So just like we have Mother's Day, Grandparents' Day, and Father's Day, today is a day that you should also celebrate your child. It's also International Jazz Day today. Sasa enda mahali tafuta a very posh hotel that plays jazz music and just listen to jazz.
Hakunanga jazz mahali si posh.
Asidani. Ushaisikia jazz kibanda sikia? I've never.
We?
Natambia mama shi leo anieke jazz.
Sio mimi nimesema, sio mimi.
Yeah. Ni ukweli usemwe.
Anyway, use the hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag story yetu. All right, let's now take a look at the state of the weather.
Yes. All right, let's take a look at how the weather's looking this morning across the country. And we'll start off in Makueni County. Thunderstorms expected today. This morning is 18 degrees. Highs of 7 degrees expected today in Makueni County. Narok, it's raining this morning and it's 14 degrees. Highs of 21 degrees expected in Narok. Nairobi is also expected to rain today. 16 degrees this morning. Highs of 22 degrees throughout the day in Nairobi today. Isiolo, it's also raining this morning, highs of 18 degrees. This morning is 18 degrees rather, highs of 27 degrees expected today. Kirinyaga is also raining, it's 17 degrees this morning, highs of 24 degrees expected in Kirinyaga. And finally, Bomet is also raining with thunderstorms, and it's 13 degrees this morning, highs of 21 degrees expected today. So across, it's very much going to rain. That's the state of the weather.
All right, in a short while, we'll be linking up with our reporter, Mudhoni Brenda, to give us an update from the streets of Nairobi and how traffic is faring on. But for now, let's take a look at the quote of the day.
When you're truly passionate about your work, it no longer feels like a chore. It transforms into something that motivates and pushes you towards excellence and persistence.
Now let's come back and take a look at the local dailies in depth. All right, we start off with the Standard newspaper this morning. Numbers don't lie, that's the headline on the front page. It's crunch time, they call it, that President William Ruto's upbeat claims about the economy are now clashing with his own data. The latest government survey lays bare a slowdown he has repeatedly downplayed, with economic growth slowing to 4.6%, key sectors losing momentum and external shocks tightening the squeeze. Job creation is still falling short of Ruto's pledge to deliver 1 million jobs a year. And while fuel-driven inflation is creeping up again, adding pressure on households already strained by high living costs. The numbers puncture the narrative of resilience and expose an economy drifting, of course, turning its central claim into a growing political liability ahead of 2027. The Standard has captured the story on page 4 and 5, and they've also given just a general outlook on the sectors that registered slower growth. That includes agriculture, that slowed to 2.8% from 4.4%. Manufacturing eased to 2% from 3%. Transport and storage dipped to 3.7% from 4.3%. We also have accommodation and food services, which fell sharply to 15.6% from 25.9%. And ICT slowed from 4.8% from 7.1%. And we also have financial services and insurance, which eased to 6.5% from 7.5%. So these are the sectors that registered slower growth. And this headline cuts across various newspapers, just talking about how the economy has fared on 3.5 years in of President William Ruto's regime.
And I think agriculture is perhaps the most shocking given the kind of government intervention, especially with the fertilizer subsidy, that enabled the economy to grow quite fast in 2024. But then if it's slowing down now to 2.8% growth, then questions will be asked. So what is the plan? We thought we were on an upward trajectory. It's not happening. All right. Other stories, I think, on the Standard New Justice Warsame on page 6, because the Standard has only used the front page for this story about the economic survey. So other stories like kama hiyo ya Justice Warsame kule ndani page 6, it's not that they've ignored it. Other stories, Mudavadi and Wetangula to meet Western MPs. So those are some of the stories given prominence. Back page matters Champions League. We're looking at the Standard Champions League, and this is when they're covering what happened between PSG and Bayern Munich. Mabao 9 kwa game moja. Yesterday, something was very different when Atletico Madrid hosted Arsenal. The goals were only 1-1. So Enrique says, don't worry, expect more of the same in the second leg of the semi-finals. So for those following Champions Leagues, the UEFA Champions League, you can enjoy the back page of the Standard. That's the Standard. The Daily Nation has decided to approach this economic survey report in a different way. It has done a comparison of the last 3 presidents. President Mwai Kibaki, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and now President William Ruto, and gives a comparison of 3 years of the 3 presidents. So President Mwai Kibaki, between 2003 to 2005, he inherited an economic growth of 2.9%, and by the time he was leaving, no, not leaving, by the 3rd year, the rate had grown, the GDP growth rate had grown to 5.8%. Yeah. For President Mwai Kibaki in 2013, he inherited 5.9 from his predecessor Mwai Kibaki. By the time he was getting to 2015, it had dropped slightly to 5.7. Then comes William Ruto. He inherited that 5.7 from Uhuru Kenyatta, and by last year, it was 4.6. So that comparison is what they've done. 3 presidents, first 3 years in office, slow growth. The country's annual economic scorecard shows mixed results. The interesting thing is that this survey is by the Kenya Bureau of Statistics. Si ati ni mtu mwingine amekuja ametoka huko nje. It's the same government now telling you that this is a reality on the ground. Yeah. So the Daily Nation found space for that Supreme Court nominee's story. Court of Appeal Judge Mohamed Warsame has been nominated for appointment to the Supreme Court by the Judicial Service Commission. It's tucked in on page 12 of this paper. Now there's an even more interesting story. Nakumbuka ile story ya surrogacy. Fertility farms, apparently they have a plot to bribe senators over this surrogacy bill. Agencies seeking to sway proposed regulation of Kenya's surrogacy industry face accusations of raising funds to bribe senators. Huko nyuma. Si ati wamewa bribe. Apparently wanafanya kaharambe ndio. Wanasema the firms are reportedly keen to have the Assisted Reproductive Technology Bill amended to allow foreign couples access Kenyan surrogates. The problem is that these people have been doing a lot of business kule nyuma. This bill, if at all it's passed and sent to, it would mean that the industry becomes very much formalized and everything you do is out there in the public. Now wataki hiyo sana. A new malaria spreading species threatens Nairobi and other cities. I thought walikuwa wamesema ati kuna malaria mpya, mosquito mpya inaua ile ingine. Sasa kuna malaria back in the pages. That is on page 3 of the Daily Nation. And on the back page, Sawe. I didn't know about Kejelcha Kiplimo was the one I was wary of. Now, Sebastian Sawe, arrived last night from his heroics in London. This morning he'll be at State House, and we'll be getting some live updates from there because the president is hosting Sebastian Sawe and other athletes this morning. So a lot of Sebastian Sawe will be talked about today. Champions League news, Mohamed Warsame, and of course, the economic survey report. That's the Daily Nation.
Taifa Leo, Ruto jikokota wanazungumzia masuala ya uchumi pia. Ingawa Ruto amezidiwa nguvu na Uhuru na Kibaki katika ukuaji wa uchumi, amewashinda katika ustawishaji ajira zisizo rasmi, hasa sekta ya ujenzi. So in the informal sector. The story has been captured in page 2, and they just talk about it the way Daily Nation has also captured it. They say that Ruto's asilimia ya ukuaji wa pato la taifa katika mwaka wa 2025 ni asilimia 4.6. Wakati wa aliyekuwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, asilimia ya ukuaji wa pato la taifa katika mwaka 2015 ilikuwa asilimia 5.7, that is 5.7%. Alafu wakati wa hayati Mwai Kibaki, asilimia ya ukuaji wa pato la taifa katika mwaka 2005 ilikuwa asilimia 5.8. That's uchumi wa kuwa kwa kasi ndogo chini ya Rais Ruto ikilinganishwa na Uhuru na Kibaki katika miaka 3 ya kwanza. So we are not doing so well with regard to how economy is doing. That's the main story on the front page of Taifa Leo as well. Vidokezo zaidi, mbu wapya tishio la miji wagunduliwa, ni habari katika ukurasa wa 4 wa gazeti hili. Wanasema uwepo wa wadudu hao umebainika Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Lamu, Kitui na vile vile Tana River. Njama ya kuhonga maseneta, habari hiyo tumezungumzia katika gazeti nyingine. Bayani ya PA kulipiza kisasi dhidi ya PSG, ni masuala ya spoti pia. Walishindwa kwa pengo la bao moja katika duru ya kwanza ya nusu finali ya UEFA, ila waazimia kufunza PSG goli. Kule juu zaidi, magari Garissa ya goma sababu ya usalama. Mamia ya wasafiri wakwama baada ya magari ya kuelekea Nairobi kukataa kuhudumu, ni habari katika ukurasa wa 2, na Jaji Warsame amlemea Katwa Kigen. That's a very interesting headline there.
Yeah, you remember yesterday all papers had Katwa Kigen on the front page.
Yeah.
He was looking like probably the main candidate. Now today it would appear mambo haikumwendea vile alidhani.
Yes, that's the Taifa Leo this morning.
All right, the Star today has taken a very different angle, not very different, but decided to focus on the positive side of this report, and it's on the jobs, because the Taifa Leo talks about the jobs creation being the one definitive factor that distinguishes between President William Ruto's time and the other two presidents. So it says the economy creates 822,100 new jobs despite slowdown. Now umeona vile amefanya hapo. Amefocus on the positive. Hao wengine watu wanasema slow growth, numbers don't lie, ni kubaya. Star amesema jobs are there. Over 30% of them in construction sector, thanks to affordable housing. That's the Star. And that story is on page 4 and 5 because it is definitely the main focus of all these dailies today. Matters flooding also getting to the front page. Mvua, the weather. Na hapa wameka picha nzuri sana. Hata rais mwenyewe akiwa na mwavuli, sababu mvua ilinyesha. Si ati huwa inakosa kunyesha State House, ako pale chini. Flooding misery as rains pound metropolis. Na barabara nyingi za mjini zimeharibika, and the Star has those photos there. Someone wading through flood water, and the president also having to hold kini hii unasema, is this just optics? I'm sure there are people who can drive him from one place to another at State House, but anyway. Him and other leaders are there. President William Ruto, his deputy, and Kirinyaga Governor Nweguru after a meeting with a delegation from Kirinyaga at State House. Yes. Farmers count massive gains after Ruto's Murang'a visit is another story on page 21. Grade 6 pupil killed in fresh attacks in Kitui. I remember we had Joe Mutambu here yesterday, and he raised this concern that sections of Kitui are experiencing some unrest, and this has caused a number of deaths that could escalate further tension between communities in that area. Away from that, Paleju, the top strip, they found space for what's happening with the JC interviews and that nominee, Mohamed Warsame, to the Supreme Court. Yes. And matters politics, Jubilee State House hopeful Matiang'i calls for united Nyanza. Back page of the Star, it steers clear of matters international football. Nalitanga local. Battle for last 4 in local league football. Cup semi-final, sport at stake as Ulinzi Stars host Tusker. And that's the Star today.
All right, let's take a look at Business Daily, and they also take a positive look into this economic survey. Real wages grow for first time in 6 years, and kumbuka kesho ni Labor Day. So salary rises in 2025 surpassed inflation or cost of living measure for the first time in 6 years, despite employers having offered workers a smaller pay increase. Mliongeza mshahara?
Now kutuambia.
You guys come by living blood. Now, this newspaper says inflation-adjusted earnings or real wages, a barometer for measuring employees' purchasing power, grew by 2.2% last year, marking the first time since 2020 that growth in workers' earnings has surpassed the increase in consumer prices, according to Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Now, workers' real wages had fallen for 5 consecutive years, including a negative 0.3% in 2024. The positive growth, however, masks the impact of increased statutory deductions, including contributions to SHIF, housing levy, and enhanced remittances to what? Let's take a look at this. To the National Social Security Fund, that is NSSF, that ate into employees' payslips for the better part of last year. This is a very interesting read. Hata unaona nasikia tu niendelee niwasomee yote, but it's on page 3. Inakuhusu, so you can take a look at this story right there. There's another interesting story on the front page of the Business Daily. Apartment prices fall following excess supply in Nairobi. Now, I would want to know, easy falls imekuwa areas gani, so that we can move to those areas. Because there's also been this conversations that one bedroom sasa hivi, kitambo zilikuwa unapata very good one bedroom at 10,000 Kenyan shillings. Right now, one bedroom is 30,000 Kenyan shillings, a decent one.
Ukienda maeneo kama Dhindigwa, your one bedroom utalipa double that amount.
60K.
Yeah, it's getting... So I'm wondering, okay, fine. Those areas are probably in Kiambu, but areas I think people are focusing on are especially in Kileleshwa, with the mushrooming of apartment blocks. There are quite a number, they're high-rise.
Yes.
25 floors and above.
And Kilimani and the likes.
Yes.
So this newspaper says apartment prices in Nairobi suburbs fell in the year to March 2026 as supply of the units exceeded demand, with developers leaning on standalone houses sales and rising rental prices to drive their returns on investment. That's another story on page 14. On the Tika, state cuts housing levy investment in treasury bills, micro lenders seek longer threshold for loan default, and Trump plans new AGOA without duty-free access. And that's the Business Daily.
All right, it's the same focus on the People Daily. Economy slips again as agriculture dips, and I think that's the main question. If agriculture is dipping, and that's our mainstay, that's the mainstay of our economy, what does this mean? Incidentally, agriculture is also a devolved function, and we'll be having members of county assemblies from different counties helping us discuss these headlines later on today. So do stand by for that. So it's the main story there, state of the past on the People Daily. Tuvuke border tuone ndugu zetu wale wa kule Kampala wanazungumzia nini. On the Daily Monitor this morning, they call it Judgment Day. Today, the High Court is scheduled to decide the fate of Christopher Okello Onyum, who's 38 years old, who is accused of murdering 4 toddlers at Gaba Early Childhood Development Program in Kampala. And this is impressive compared to Kenya. Hii case ingetake, remember the case in Shakahola? It's, I think, 4 years on, na bado inaendelea. In in Kampala, this incident happened like 2-3 weeks ago, and it's already Judgment Day today. Daylight Soup matters crime in Kampala, and kuna watu wameshikwa pale na wakaambiwa watu watoe shati na walale pale chini wapate kinini adabu. Hiyo ni Daily Monitor. The other paper is the New Vision. PDM, government expands cash access. That's the main story there. And Museveni UK envoy discussed bilateral partnership. So New Vision, not very interesting on the front page today. Let's take a look at Tanzanian papers. We start off with The Citizen. Why UAE's OPEC exit is unlikely to hit Tanzania. Still more focus on fuel prices, even in Tanzania. Kumbuka bado tumekuwa tukizungumzia the new or the anticipated refinery that will be opened somewhere in, is it Tanga? In Tanzania, Uganda, part of that. Ali Dangote is part of that as well. So fuel prices still the mainstay of discussions in Tanzania. According to The Citizen, gazeti la Mwananchi, gharama za maisha. So them, they are already looking ahead at Labor Day, which is tomorrow. Mei Mosi mwaka huu ni kilio cha gharama za maisha, ndio habari kuu kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili. Sema maadhimisho kufanyika kesho sambamba na kupanda kwa nauli, huku bei za mafuta zikiwa zimepaisha bidhaa na huduma. Wafanyikazi wapaza sauti wasubiri kauli ya serikali. So matters workers and their rights and salaries. Kenya ni kama tuzungumzia hayo. Economic slowdown. What will it mean for the speeches that you expect tomorrow at the Labor Day celebrations, which incidentally will be held in Vihiga? And those are the papers, both local and regional. Let's take a look at the cartoons this morning in Kenya. We'll start off with a cartoon on the Daily Nation, and this one focuses on another happening in the farther south of this continent in South Africa. I'm sure you've seen these videos of xenophobic incidences. So we have a caricature of Nelson Mandela, who was a president there some time back. Alafu anaitwa yendo alimaliza apartheid, hivyo ndo hao sema.
Apartheid.
So anasema hapa, he's saying xenophobia is out of tune with what I stood for. Yeah. Nelson Mandela is sad, even in the afterlife, just watching what's happening in South Africa. That's the Daily Nation.
All right. The Star. Now, kuna wale watu wa power saying, in this arrangement, we don't have power. This is chairperson here, kuna yule wa Suna East, and kuna yule wa Mombasa. Kule.
I love this cartoon.
It's yani kuna sock, hiyo ni extension.
And you know how they've placed the ODM party leader. Ameko kwa ile ya earth. Hapa chini kuna live na neutral. And that's the president and Kindiki. So ukishapewa earthing, unajua hata bila hiyo earthing bado unaweza pata power. So anasema hapa hakuna power.
Hakuna power.
In this arrangement we don't have power. Umepewa earthing, enye hapo hakuna power.
That's the Star.
It's the same kind of story on the People Daily, the cartoon there, and a caricature of the president with a spin wheel. But all his choices are Kindiki. Clearly hakuna power. My choice for 2027, ata spin aje, every choice is Kindiki. Yeah.
Finally, the one on the Standard wameamua kufinya kabisa. They are talking about the recently concluded JSC interviews. On one end, they say what we see, judge vetting, tunaona candidates wakiwa vetted, but behind the scenes, judge petting. So it looks like there's a very big hand that's protecting these candidates there, according to the Standard.
Wanabembelezwa.
Yes.
All right, so those are some of the big discussions today, and I hope you did watch that video from the JKIA, where the plane carrying Kenyan hero Sebastian Sawe was greeted by a water salute. At JKIA as it arrived, and Sports Minister Salim Mvurya was at hand to welcome him home. Congratulations once again, Sebastian Sawe. He broke the world record for marathon, sub 2 hours, and today he'll be hosted by President William Ruto at State House, Nairobi. Yes. And we were to link up with our reporter, Modhoni Brenda, for an update from areas around the city center and the entire metropolis. We still promise to do that later on. We'll also be getting that update from State House also. Meanwhile, after the break, we'll be having a conversation with 4 members of county assemblies to discuss the state of devolution, plus linking it up with the main discussion on the dailies today, that economic survey report. Robert Alai, MCA Kilelesho Ward, will be with us alongside Apopo Lintana Agano. I hope nimeipata Apopo Lentana Agawo, who's MCA Kanyadoto in Homa Bay, Kiruga Dhuku, UDA party NEC member, who is also MCA Shinga Ward in Othaya, and Gishobe Mbatia, MCA Kariara Ward. These are the gentlemen who will be in studio to help us discuss counties and accountability.
All right, being a Thursday, we'll also be talking matters health later on the show. But keep interacting with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya, or on Facebook and on YouTube, and next at TV47 Digital. Tag us at using our handles. Mine is at Ann_Dida.
Mine is at Fred Indemoli. Remember to use the hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag StoryDiet.
See you after the break. All right, I want us to go back to that story about Sawe as we wait to link up with Modhoni Brenda. Alan Zuki will be in State House. I know they're already headed there. Just to bring us up to speed with how that ceremony will be going on in State House. But even as we're talking about how Sawe, received a good welcome, as I've seen you've mentioned, I don't know if it has been captured in these dailies, but there's also complaints that I saw online that people feel like he was failed in a way.
Failed?
That there was a little bit of chaos at the JKIA when it was being received. We were not there. Watu walikuwa hapo ndio wanajua wanatuambia hii story.
CS was there. CS for Sports, Salim Vuria was there.
Yeah.
And there was that at least water salute, which is significant enough.
Yes, so there's something that I saw that I would just love to read, that there was traumatizing chaos, that the king of marathon cannot even get a befitting welcome. So there could be two sides to this. Maybe now people who are there are reporters and, our sports reporters who are there could just bring us up to speed with everything that, took place there at the JKIA. Aside from us seeing that water salute, what else?
Oh, yes. Previously we have had complaints about people not getting befitting send-off. Wanafika alafu hakuna mtu anangojea.
So hii ilikuwa afadhali?
Hii ilikuwa afadhali. Anyway, let's link up with our reporter Muthoni Brenda for an update from parts of the city. Brenda, good morning. What do you have for us this morning?
A very good morning to you, Fred Indimuli and Anne Odida. We are coming to you live from the bus station here in Nairobi CBD, where the city is already buzzing, and so other newspaper headlines. Tuko hapa katika hii hoteli hapa. Asanti. Na tunataka kusikia maoni ya Wakenya kuhusu the economy. Habari yako?
Mzuri.
Wacha nikushikie hii tafadhali.
Mzuri, economy ni mbaya.
Economy ni mbaya.
Nakula kideri ya nini, si kideri chapati chafua.
Chapati chafua ni nini?
Chapati chafua yani imekatakatwa lakini ni supu tu. Wamenipekea supu. Sasa economy ni mbaya. Economy so bad.
Economy ni mbaya. Economy ni mbaya kwa side gani kabisa?
Mshahara Kasongo ananikata pesa inakuja zero. Pesa iko zero. Negative. Sijui nyumba yako ananijenga, juu nyumba gani ananijenga. Ananiambia ananijenga nyumba, juu nyumba iko wapi?
Leo ukitoka nyumbani, umeacha pesa ya lunch?
Bana sijaacha, nimwambia wote kwa duka tu kopa mkate ya 50.
Sasa wewe umekuja kukula na huko nyumbani umeacha wanateseka.
Hii nimekopa.
Hii umekopa? Ongea na mimi vizuri nitakulipia. Ni how much?
How much hii ni 40.
Ni 40 bob peke yake.
Only.
Wow, all right. Na habari yako Mkenya?
Mzuri.
You're live on TV 47. Tafadhali unaweza angalia kamera. Naweza taka kusikia maoni yako kuhusu the current state of the economy. Economy iko sawa ama ni mbaya?
Economy ni mbaya. Ukiangalia mahali nimetoka kama saa hii, nimeamka 4, niko pipeline. Angalau nipate ngare ya 40 ama 30. Nikashuka Mudhurwa nikatembea mguu juu niweze kufika mahali naenda. So naona economy ni mbaya. Saa hii nakunywa chai na andazi 2.
Umekunywa chai na mandazi 2? Kwa nini ungetaka kukula nini? Leo TV 47 tunaweza amua tukununulie breakfast.
Ningekula chakula mzito kwa sababu naenda kazi mzito.
Unaenda kazi gani?
Mimi ni asila.
Kwa hivyo unaweza taka president afanye nini kuhusu the current state of economy?
Economy teremuka, economy yake iko juu sana. Ukiangalia watoto wako shule wameenda, hatuna school fees bado. Sasa unaona?
Na sasa kuna Labor Day celebrations zinakuja. Ni nini unaweza taka president address for nyinyi mahustlers?
Sisi kama hustlers atuongezee mshahara. Sisi hatuna mshahara. Juu amesema bottom up. Si ni kuanzia chini kupanda juu. Ameanzia up kuteremka. So unaona, na bado hajafanya chochote.
All right. Asante sana. Fred Indimuli, those are the feelings of Kenyans right here at the business station in Nairobi CBD. Watu wanasema economy imekuwa tricks and totally bad. And in the light of Labor Day celebrations, they would love President Ruto to address the economy crisis. Lakini haya ati afanye nini?
Awachana mambo ya payslip. Hiyo asiguze mambo ya payslip.
Asiguze mambo ya payslip.
Nalichokora.
All right, Fred Indimuli, najua hapo nyinyi mnasikia njaa, lakini mimi nimejipin. Unaona already nimeletewa chai, kwa hivyo acha mimi na my cameraman to enjoy. Back to you two in studio.
Enjoy your breakfast, Brenda. Lovely report there and that update. And kuna story nimeshika hapo. It's the story about the second person you interviewed, Brenda, and that kind of economy. Mahali unapanda basi mpaka mahali haufiki mwisho wa safari, then hapo ndio pesa yako 40 shillings inaisha, then you have to walk the rest of the way. Is that a reality for many people?
Yes, it is indeed a reality for many people. And Fred Indimuli, when we were coming here into town, kutoka pale GPO ama hapo Upper Hill, you could literally see Kenyans walking into town. So this is a lived reality for so many other people. Nikuulize kidogo, leo venye umeshuka Mudhurwa ndio utembee mguu, mlikuwa wengi ama ulikuwa peke yako?
Tulikuwa wengi, basi mzima.
Basi mzima mlishuka mkatembea mguu?
Si kila mtu anaenda shughuli zake. Kuna wale wanaingia Mudhurwa, kuna wale wanaingia town wakienda kwingine na kwingine. Yeah.
Kwa hivyo ni economy imekuwa mbaya such that watu wanafika mahali karibu na town, unashuka unatembea mguu kuingia town.
Mpaka ungangane ndio uone kama utafikia mahali unaenda kazi. Mpaka uamke, kama unatoka mbali uamke mapema upate gari ya rais. Ndio ukifika 6 unalipa 100 kuingia town. Yeah.
Na before mafuta ipande mlikuwa mnalipa how much?
Unalipa 60 token. Bado ni mbaya. Juu inabaa uamke mapema, ufike mapema na upate ya rais. Yep.
So yes, Indimuli, it is indeed a lived reality for so many Nairobians here in CBD.
Thank you so much, Brenda Modoni, for that report. And yes, it mirrors what we are seeing on the dailies today. A slow growth on the Daily Nation. Numbers don't lie on the Standard. Economy creates jobs. Yes, that's a positive one on the Star. Matters economy from the Economic Survey Report of 2026. Yes, time for us to take a break. When we come back, we'll be having a panel here in studio. You're watching TV47 Breakfast.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza simu yako. Hamna pesa.
I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Ikikunyuma.
Oh my God. He left me. Nitumie ni live.
Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? Hi-Fi? Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea. The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero make a beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
We won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that.
Surely. Hey, nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair. It was hers.
You're new here?
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu huu ni system isikizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
Then you move it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV 47.
Nairobi, where the hustle never sleeps and neither do the scammers.
Link Up, we are talking about something that's affecting all of us. We are talking trust.
We're diving into the campus life.
Stay fresh, stay safe.
Stay linked up.
My father used to tell me that a hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Booyah! We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair. It was hers.
You know here?
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu ni system haisikizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
I remove it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mkorada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yaani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona kiki ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwa commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Sintalipa kesho.
Kesho gani when?
Si kesho ya kesho ya tomorrow.
Your turn.
Mzee neighborhood nikamchoka. Neighborhood ni madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mkorada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yaani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona kiki ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwa commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Sintalipa kesho.
Kesho gani when?
Si kesho ya kesho ya tomorrow.
Your turn.
Mzee neighborhood nikamchoka. Neighborhood ni madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV 47. Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning. You have my rent?
Leo June.
All right, this is TV 47 Breakfast. My name is Fred Indimuli. State of the nation today, we're focusing on counties and accountability. But there's one story that you cannot afford to ignore this morning, and it's that report by the Kenya Bureau of Statistics on the state of the economy. The Standard goes with this headline: numbers don't lie. Perhaps the harshest. The Daily Nation is not any better. They say slow growth. And they've done a comparison of the first 3 years of the last 3 presidents, Mwai Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, and now President William Ruto. And it's not looking very good for the current president, given that kind of comparison. On the Taifa Leo, anasema Ruto ajikokota. Ajikokota mbona? Issues like agriculture have really slowed down, and yet that is the one area where the president really pushed, especially with the fertilizer subsidy. But this growth is in comparison to what happened in 2024, when immediately after that subsidy came into place, that sector, agriculture, recorded some spirited growth. Now it would appear it is slowing down from a high of 4.6% to 2.8%. These are just some of the headlines today, and of course we cannot ignore this. Even as we talk about counties and accountability, agriculture, interestingly, is a devolved function. This morning we are privileged to have with us, beginning on my immediate left, for the first time on this panel, Apopo Lentana Agao. He's MCA Kanyadoto Ward, Homa Bay County. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Next to him we have Robert Alai, a familiar face on this panel. He's the MCA Kilelesho Ward here in Nairobi.
Asante Fred.
Another familiar face on the panel, Kiroga Dhuku, MCA Shinga Ward in Nyeri County.
Good morning, thank you.
He also happens to be the UDA party, a member of the UDA party, NEC.
Thank you.
So even before we talk about counties, we cannot ignore whatever we are seeing on the dailies today, because it does affect the whole country. And starting with you, Apopo, what does this make you feel? Remember, it's only 15 months to the next election. This kind of headlines, what do they do to President William Ruto's campaigns?
I think first, the headlines are meant to create a notion that the president is not working, which is not true. However, I want to say the Star stated very clearly that despite the slow growth, there has been 800 to 2,000 jobs created. However, I think there needs to be much more done in the line of infrastructure, because, you know, in the last 3 years, we haven't had major infrastructure jobs created. And if you look forward to these coming months, there's the opening of the Mau Summit Rironi Highway, which I know will create another big jobs for people. There is presumably a chance to build the Korusoi Dam, the highway from Lamu, Malindi, Mombasa up to Lungalunga. If it's up, there'll be some more jobs created, because the only way to create jobs in a country like us that's developing is through infrastructure, housing, roads, dams, electricity infrastructure. That's what will create jobs. So I think the president should, now that the National Infrastructure Fund was created, we hope that big projects will be opened up and will absorb more youth. From such jobs is where the service industry will grow, banking will grow, hotel industry will grow, and other services will grow. Otherwise, as of now, I think the only challenge we have is the excess rains that will slow down agriculture, because in where I come from, the rains have for surely affected farming, and we expect meager produce after the rains, because it has rained excessively long this year.
Yeah, such vagaries of the weather do happen across any administration. Things like flood, droughts, that is something constant. We cannot say that it was better for any other president.
No. This year, we have been here. During 2022, there was also rains. During Corona, it rained also for a very long time. 2020, it rained for a very long time. There was one also in 2017. But no, coming towards election, it affects how the population thinks towards the president. What do you do on subsidies? What do you do on tax cuts? And now it has been compounded by the cost of fuel. What will you do? So the president needs to really think hard on how he and the cabinet will act on the areas of concern that have been raised by the dailies, whereby they say there's slow growth in agriculture, which is our biggest employer and biggest earner in GDP. So there's something must be done on agriculture.
Right.
Yes.
And Wanalai, because many people have always said that judging a president from the first 2-3 years is a bit unfair, but that's exactly what the Daily Nation and the Taifa Leo have done. And they've done a comparison of the first 3 years of the last 3 presidents, Mwai Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, then President William Ruto. And if you look at the trajectory across, President Mwai Kibaki inherited a growth rate of 2.9%, and by the third year of his administration, it had gone up to 5.8%. Uhuru Kenyatta inherited from 5.9%. It dropped slightly to 5.7% by the third year. Now, William Ruto inherited that 5.7% from his predecessor, but by the third year, it's dropped by almost a percentage point, 4.6%. This is huge. Do you say, what does this comparison portray?
But I think, thank you, Fred, and the TV47 family for inviting us here. But I think that we are very unfair to the president, because first we have to realize that us as ODM, as Azimio then, we went to the streets over the Unga, you know, the Sufuria Maandamanos, they used to call it such because of the way we were carrying them out. But also in the second year, where he faced a lot of protest, including the young people who almost, you know, destabilized the government completely. And he had to even disband the government, the cabinet, and even bring in new faces in both the cabinet and also the PSS. I think it's very unfair. You know, real numbers in the newspaper, especially the Daily Nation, you can see that the overall average, real average wage in Kibaki, Uhuru, and Ruto's time, despite the many challenges. I think that if you're seeing that the real average wages are growing, the numbers are very telling. But also the fact that if you see the impact on the economy, the infrastructure developments, you know, Nairobi here only, we are just completing the launching of more than 500 classrooms, which have not been developed for a very long time. The roads impact, you know, the Koru, you know, level on the Koru, the Rironi Mau Summit Road, the SGR is going on. We have a new stadium. Bomas is being redeveloped. You know, there's a lot of impacts, which I think will only be felt. You know, sometimes we treat the government like a private corporation, and we think that it should be a profit and loss making institution where we are supposed to see those within the short term. But sometimes the impact you see on the economy might come 10, 20 years. And I think that we need to sacrifice the reputation of the president now. That he will always be
Is this the best time to sacrifice his reputation, really? 15 months to a very big election?
I don't think that he's interested. I think he's interested in impacting the country. He's not interested in being a good guy, because we have told him sometimes that, you know, and Kiruga here will bear me witness, that can you sacrifice some of the projects you are trying to do because it's affecting your reputation? Say, no, I don't want to be popular.
Popularity, yeah.
I want to impact the country. And I want to leave the country better. So I might be celebrated. And even if I don't win the next election, then I have been president, I have impacted the country, and I think that's his
It should be noted that this report is by the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, which is a government body. It's not a private sector report. It's not a report by the media. In fact, the comparison between the three presidents is from the same kind of reports by the Bureau of Statistics.
But remember, Fred, that in the news media, if a dog bites anybody, it's not news. So even in this report, I think there are a lot of positives. The fact that the person and individual...
You've been in the media to some extent. You can say that the editors met and made decisions on what to write. But when Kiruga Dhuku, agriculture is a mainstay of our economy. Agriculture is one of the issues that the president has been keen on, especially in fertilizer subsidy. It is also a devolved function. Now, looking at this report, bringing the growth rate down from a high of 4.4% after the fertilizer subsidy to 2.8% this year, does that worry you?
Okay, thank you, Fred. And I think first allow me to, our National Elections Board Chair, Eugenia Mwaura, has lost a mom. So I want first to send my condolences to Eugenia Mwaura due to the loss of the mom, Madam Consolata Ajuru Mwaura. May they take heart. After here, we are going to join them for the burial. Now, like my brother Arai says, and you rightly observe this report is by a government agency. But, we have to interrogate the report holistically. Does this report just contain the negative part? The answer is no. Because, in fact, I want to agree with Honorable Arai. The president has really tried. We came out of COVID. You had, even after the swearing in one of the then government officials saying even rats had nothing to eat, even the papers for the rats to eat, they didn't get fined. In fact, at some point we were being told they just found 93 shillings in the government accounts. So the issue is this, Fred.
Now that you've made that, that assertion, if you look at the comparison with COVID and everything and whatever was left in the coffers, allegedly, President Uhuru Kenyatta left the growth rate at 5.7%, the GDP growth rate at 5.7%. That's what William Ruto inherited. Now it's 4.6%. Are you certain you want to go back to Uhuru's time to make that comparison?
No, the issue is, there is no, COVID was a global phenomenon. And, His Excellency President William Ruto had the unenviable task of ensuring he got the country out of the effects of that period. Then we had a very bad drought. Now, we should be asking ourselves, right? Is there anything happening on the ground? Because like the fertilizer subsidies, you can imagine. And some of these government interventions could be the reason why you are seeing this dip. Because like now, when we subsidize the fertilizers by more than half, right? That can affect now what what can be seen as the growth. But the thing is this, if you go, I'm trying to compare this report and what is happening on the ground. Even if you take Othaya itself alone, Othaya we have like 4 new markets that are being built there by the government. We have the Moi Kibaki Stadium right there in Othaya. This road here, when you move out of Othaya, this road that was left here at 30-40% by Uhuru's administration from Keno to Marwa. Actually, we are now done more than 80%, 80% to 90%. At Marwa, we have one of the best interchanges in the country, right? Now, in fact, now we have, the road was to move from Marwa to Nanyuki. Now it has been redesigned to enter Nyeri town. Lulingu Stadium there, it's being done. We are even saying on December 12th, we are having the celebrations there. Look, the hospitals. Why do you
think these indicators are not showing all that? We have Talanta Stadium, and we have a lot more we can mention. Those infrastructure projects that are probably promised or underway. Why are the indicators showing different? That's the question. Because for many of our viewers who may not understand these things, probably might help them understand how come the main indicators are showing slowed growth.
It's 2 factors. Number 1, the media picking just on the small negatives. Number 2,
we're not going to take that. It is a KNBS report.
I agree, but number 2, this is a fact. Because why? Look, Fred, I was even giving you another example. In our area, we have this Moi Kibaki Level 6 hospital, which is a regional referral facility. On top of being made an independent medical institution, we are having another wing there at $500 million. The government has even moved to PGH Nyeri, which has been so congested. There has been complaints over the years. We are doing another wing there worth $1 billion. So the issue is this, and so many sectors have seen positive improvement. So you can only conclude people, and it's also a challenge to the media, kindly, as you give us the negative, the small negative aspects, can you also give us a bigger picture of the positives that are happening in the country?
All right. And there's no bigger picture, especially when it comes to the National Bureau of Statistics, apart from the fact that GDP growth rate is a main indicator of an economy's health. And it has slowed down to 4.6%.
Yeah, but you see, Fred, just one.
Hospitals do not help with the economy.
No, just a small one. Economy, economy creates 800,022 new jobs despite slowdown. So
that is, the media have done that.
Look at the entire picture. Don't just.
And we're still getting that from the media as well. Anyway, that was not meant to be our biggest discussion, but the fact that it's on all the dailies today, we simply cannot ignore it. The focus today was to be on accountability at the county level. And we've seen what has happened in the recent past, the push and pull between the governors and the senators. And in the inside pages of the papers on page 16 of the Daily Nation, there's this headline. Inside the deal that ended senators-governors standoff, governors have agreed to return to Senate oversight hearings, drop demands for the removal of 4 senators, and stop public attacks on the House, while senators undertook to address extortion claims internally, enforce decorum in committees, and consider higher county allocations. This debate has gone on for about a month or two now, and many had argued that this was partly failure by the respective county assemblies, them being the first line of accountability, of oversight of county administrations. Do you agree that this part should not have been, if at all county assemblies were doing their part? Apopo.
Thanks, Fred. First, I forgot to congratulate Sebastian Sawe, our World Sub-2-0 champion, who just jetted in yesterday, and we wish him well as he enjoys the triumph at the marathon. On the account of county assemblies are the primary oversight of our county executive, county assemblies. But you'll find in the architecture of the Constitution, there was a plot at the inception to make MCAs or the county assemblies be more weaker, unable to oversight the executive. First, they put in a low pay grade. Secondly, they put the governor with more resources, wielding resources, that he has control over the county assemblies. So you'll find all governors, they have control over county assembly by carrot and stick. So you find MCAs in counties who are unable to stick to the governor's role in the parties, most of the homogeneous counties, you cannot oversight the executive.
All right.
So that stage of the Constitution put MCA in a lower cadre of work in the county assembly, in that you are vetting an executive member of the county assembly who is more higher than you in the cadre, unlike the National Assembly, whereby the MPs and the ministers, or MPs and...
That's an interesting admission coming from a member of the county assembly.
Yes.
That it's actually a fault.
At the inception,
yeah,
there was that fault.
Okay.
So there's an assumption also that the county assemblies are like former councillors. For example, on the county assembly, you have a professor as an MCA. We have people with masters as MCAs. We have degree holders as MCAs. We have established businessmen as MCAs. We have experienced civil servants as MCAs. So it's not that MCAs can't oversight the county assemblies, I mean the county executive, is that there was it was formed at the inception of the Constitution to make MCAs weak and governors strong.
Hold that thought, because we need to circle back to the discussion around the economy, and we still have our reporter, our roving reporter, Muthoni Brenda, in the streets of Nairobi. Allow us to take one more update on issues around the economy. Muthoni, good morning once again. Bring us up to speed with what people are saying on that big discussion about this economic survey report. Muthoni, if you can hear me, kindly bring us up to speed, update us on what people are saying.
Good morning once again, Fred Indimuli. We are following the conversation here at the bus station in Nairobi. Wakenya wanafuatilia hiyo conversation. And this is a legit TV breakfast show because we have just bought breakfast for 4 Nairobians. Wamekula, wameshiba na bili imekuja 140. Naona MCA Robert Alai anakaa hapo ni kama anasikia sijui aje. Mwambia ningoje hapo studio na mkujia na mandazi. Lakini that aside, niko hapa na chef ambaye ameshaanza kupika. Kuku imeiva, matumbo imeiva, nyama imeiva, lakini wacha tusikie maoni yake kuhusu the current state of the economy. Habari yako?
Mzuri sana. Yeah.
Nikuulize, we have had 5 presidents so far. Ukiangalia hizo regimes zote, ni wakati upi the economy ilikuwa afadhali kwa mwananchi?
Okay, kwa maoni yangu, ile wakati tulikuwa na economy at least yenye we felt it. It was the regime of Mwai Kibaki. Yeah.
It was during the time of Mwai Kibaki. Saizi economy kwaje?
It's pathetic. It's not good at all. We are struggling to make our ends meet. Yeah, okay, if I can make it clear, as an ordinary Kenyan, I'm struggling to make a good meal on the table for my children, you know? So, and this is a basic need for human being. So, it's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Vile tulikuwa tunaongea na wewe umeniambia unamjua MCA Robert Alai. Je, unaweza taka kumuuliza swali ama kumwambia kitu chochote manake ako studio size?
Exactly. So, can I see the can I say
Yes, you can do whatever. It's a live link.
Okay, Mr. Rai, you are my fan. I knew you from the word go when you started asking for the MCA for Kimani. So my question to you is, you are an MCA who sits in the county government of Nairobi. What have you done? Have you put Mr. Sakaja on notice on matters in environment, economy of Nairobi? The other days we saw like the MC. Like the other days in Mkurukwa Ruben, people were evicted. These people have not been compensated up to now. Me being one of them. So I think the county of Nairobi is letting us down. Kuna daraja hapo ya hapo Kingston. Hiyo daraja wakati mvua ilinyesha, actually it swept the road away. So now, as we speak now, that road is pathetic. It's not good. So hiyo ndio maoni yangu kwa sasa.
Alright, asante sana kwa kubali kutuongelesha. Fred Ndimuli, umesikia Wakenya wako rada, and I hope the MCA Robert Alai can help and answer the chef's question. Back to you in studio.
Definitely a legitimate question there for the county assembly member of Nairobi, Bwana Alai, because that's what we're talking about. And
Yes.
Apopo said correctly that, and that's the challenge to you, that members of the county assembly or the county assemblies have been unable to hold to account and oversight members of the county executive. And he said it's a fault of the constitution. Do you agree that, yes, you've been a member of the county assembly, but ni ukweli? Iyo ya oversight na hold them to account ni ngumu?
No, I think it was sabotage at some point in the first devolution term, the first 5 years, I think 2013 to 2017, where, you know, a lot of powers of the county assemblies, there was a lot of drawback. And even the people, the framers of the constitution plus the people who ratified it in parliament, thought that they were going to be very powerful. And you saw the Kiraito Murongis, the Orengos, the Nyongo, everybody went to Senate. Now Senate has turned into primary oversighters, which is not their role. They're supposed to be secondary. They're supposed to be after the county assemblies are finished, because what is the size of the Senate? We have 47 counties. In fact, if you go in the real sense, you have 94 governments, because the county assembly and the county executive is a totally different thing. So I see when I see there's a gentleman's agreement between the senators and the council of governors, then the wananchi might be on the mill, because I don't expect, I don't know what the details of this agreement is, because it might be a lot of us trading, then we are not going to get primary oversight. The governors are going to ignore the counties. I think the county assemblies must assert their authority, and that's why we are very careful with the MCAs who want to be too friendly to the governors. The governors are supposed to perform. Even if they are relatives, you know, there are situations where you have governors who are relatives to the MCAs. It is not our roles to be friends with the governors. It is our roles to ensure that the wananchi get. And I feel the pain of the
He had specific questions for you.
Yeah, I feel the pain of the people evicted in Mukuru, though I don't know the details. But, you know, we agreed as a government, both national, because we sat as a broad-based, that eviction must be humane. We must remember that people are going through a lot, and we remember the evictions because of it has saved a lot. You know, recently there's a lot of flooding, but you have not heard of deaths in Mathare for the first time, Mathare Valley. In fact, the MCAs there could go to their wards very comfortably and address them because of the evictions which were done to clear the riparian pathways in the last year. But coming to the environment, I think is a big challenge, the garbage collection, which the national government has taken up now as part of the 80 billion shillings deal. that the national government through NYS and other entities, there's a private entity also which is going to come in to ensure that the garbage collection is ramped up and cleared. There's my challenge is on the road construction. We are constructing roads, but forgetting the drainages. We must have storm drainages. Sometimes we have less resources allocated to the county, especially Nairobi City County, for the construction of roads. So we go for the roads, the path for vehicles, and sometimes we even forget pedestrians, not remembering that Nairobi, a lot of us walk. Very few of us take vehicles.
And question is, because I saw President William Ruto recently in Kibra, and he talked about the 250 kilometers that through that corporation, those roads were going to be built in Nairobi. So when it comes to oversighting, and you're raising a question about lack of drainages, so who oversights this corporation?
We do. In fact, me
as a member of the county assembly, you will oversight the national government.
It's not implemented through the national. It's implemented through the counties. The only chair there is the prime cabinet secretary, but the CECs and the chief officers at the county level are the ones who sit in the committee, and even the implementation. Even today, if they want to do the roads, it's done in partnership with the WDF. It's still done with the partnership with the county. So the fact that we have a cooperation or a broad-based arrangement with the government does not mean that we are this. In fact, if you came to the assembly during the debate on this cooperation agreement, you would realize that some of us even opposed some of the sections.
But you eventually...
and people expected me to support it wholly, blindly. I told them, no, it's the president, yes. The president is pushing this deal, but this and this and this, we have to change. And until they change it, I didn't support it. So, and I'm very happy. We had a very robust agreement. I told the speaker that, we are not going to, if we are going to make the president's work very hard, is by supporting it only just because it came from the president. The easiest way to make the work of the president and the governor is to demand that the interest of wananchi be put in the document. And that's what we did.
Bwana Kiruga, you hear what the gentleman is saying, that is from Nairobi, but the feeling around the country is that the county assemblies are not doing much in oversighting the county executives. And it's been left now to the Senate, which does not understand the nitty-gritties on the ground, which the senators, the MCAs do. Do you agree that your role as an MCA right now is a bit amorphous?
I wouldn't agree entirely with that notion. Though, as my colleagues point out, there has been gaps and deficits. And you realize one of our greatest undertaking, because for example, I represent, I'm one of the 2 representatives of Nyeri County in the County Assemblies Forum, also within the UDA. I'm the chair of the UDA MCA caucus, which is how I find my way to the neck of the party. And one of our greatest fights is the financial autonomy of the county assemblies. We have taken that battle all the way to His Excellency the President. Luckily, he supported us. Actually, he has signed, the autonomy, the county assembly autonomy bill into law. We've also been really pushing for World Development Fund to be anchored in the Constitution. So we have made steps towards the positive. And, like, let's say, the Nairobi scenario and what we encounter in the other counties, it's a bit different. But I want to agree with my brother Robert. You cannot support anything in its entirety. For example, in our area, we passed a rule. There was this, like the revenue guys, they would come and, they find foodies. I don't know what has not been paid. Someone is just there trying to find Uga for the family. You've snatched the materials. We made it an illegality in our county. And, there are also, I like what our governor said, you are the executive, you have to be oversighted by the assembly. That's a very good approach. But even more importantly, is that, you hear we have been campaigning for wards to have, like, just like the constituencies have the CDF.
Isn't that the carrot and stick problem that Apopo was raising, that governors who've accepted that and are not waiting for the president to formalize anything and actually offered the equivalent of county, you call them county what words?
Ward Development
Fund.
Yeah.
Then the MC are very friendly to those governors.
It may seem like...
for the constitution.
I just want to come to you. Yeah. So, you know, let me tell you guys one thing. Fighting doesn't always mean there are positive response or positive results. In Nyeri, during the first assembly after dissolution, there was the best fight you can ever fight anywhere. But Nyeri County was almost number 47. So it's not per se friendliness, but at times it makes work easier and better. For example, yesterday, I was in my ward with some executive members, executive teams, because we have managed to get 10 million shillings towards the renovation of VCD classes, and a further 3 million towards building of a new block at an ECD called Gadanji. So the issue is this. In all these matters, friend, there has to be a balance. But one thing that is not negotiable is on the need to cure this, you know, I think it was, like Robert says, it was a deliberate weakening of the county assemblies. So what we are working is trying to fix, you know, that muscle of the county assemblies and delinking, especially the finances, because you realize, friend, in the past, if the county assembly tried to oversight the governor, he would just switch off the tap.
And that's exactly the problem I'm raising, that it's been left to the governor to decide if this assembly will comply, or I switch off the tap, as he says. You turn off the tap.
We have had county assemblies that have acted. Meru has acted before. Embu has acted before. Isiolo impeached the governor. Nairobi tried.
Nairobi is the best example of
they tried they were called at the party level. Several counties, Kericho has tried it before. Counties where they are homogeneous party, like where you find only it's UDA, it is ODM, it is Wiper, there has been a challenge because the governor talks to the party leader. And you'll tell the MCA, you in 2027, we want to make sure you get elected. And me, I have the money and I have the party, because I'll talk to the party leader and to give the ticket. So MCA, such counties where there's homogeneous, you'll find there's a problem. But counties whereby you have middle, like Nairobi, you'll find there's that oversight every day. There's one side that always...
Are you sure Nairobi has really...
No.
Because now there's someone to State House
Nairobi,
and they come out smiling.
Nairobi is a perfect example. They have really tried, because they are not homogeneous. There was... now it's just broad-based has brought them together. But previously when they were this side and this side, there was a big challenge. Nonetheless, I think the Ward Development Fund should be anchored in law, so that when money comes from Exchequer, the share that is put in law goes to the ward, so that an MCA can also be held accountable. Because when you say devolve, the only devolved fund in this country is CDF. This one for revolution is brought to create employment for few people, make MCA, pay MCA salaries. Because if you have an account whereby people pay salaries up to 67%, 70% on salaries, and only 30% on development, it should have been a model whereby it comes like the previous, so it's called councillors. Being a council you're a councillor, whereby the money comes from local authority transfer fund to the counties. Then there's a sitting of the councillors, they decide where the money goes. But now it goes to salaries almost 80%.
You said something very interesting about this giving an opportunity to hold MCAs accountable.
Yes.
But that would mean that it's MCAs who are actually executing how this money is spent. Because the argument has always been that you're simply doing oversight. Even the members of the National Assembly argue that they're only doing oversight. They are not the ones executing executive
Even
roles.
now in my ward, Fred, we have PMCs, project management committees, who oversight, who actually run projects. We do ECD classrooms, we do roads, we do health, we do trade, we do sports. There's a committees in the ward that do those projects. My work is just to check has been done to the standards, has the money been disbursed, as was said, for example, for classrooms. So we basically is like CDF. Why is it that for the CDF there's no problem, but for the MCAs, MCAs will do what is good for the goose?
It's your assertion that
good for the gander.
The MCA will be held accountable on how the money is
No.
spent.
It's not the MCA will be held accountable. It's just like the CDF model, whereby there's a committee at the ward that decides on the project. And this committee is established in the Act, just like the CDF Act, whereby money comes, they sit down, they discuss this will be roads, this will go on water, this will go on trade, this will go on sports, this will go on agriculture, everywhere, so that it is somewhere, it's something that is decided in law. But if you later that now the governor says that, let me give you, it's not a ward development fund, it's called ward-based projects, whereby it gives, based on the year it fails. This year, I'm in good mood with assembly, let me give them 26 million. Next year, bad mood, let me cut it to 10 million. Another year, so let us be anchored in law, a percentage that is known all over, that this will also come, so that when it comes, I know that Kanyiroto ward, I'll get 40 million. So for 40 million, the committee sits and decides. And my work is to check that the committee has decided, so that the money comes to an account of the ward, so that the ward has to pay the contractors. But when it goes to the BX checker, a good governor can cut even a contract from payment. A bad one will do whatever he wants with the money. So we want the money to come so that an MCA can also be evaluated based on how he used the money.
Used
just like MPs.
Or oversighted.
Oversighted the money.
Yes.
Oversighted the money.
Yes. Let's go back to this issue with the Senate. And I think it was you, Bonalai, who said you do not even understand the deal they have with the Senate. So who's to be held accountable now? If at all the COG can sit to the senators and come up with a deal?
I think we need to demand from the senators and the governors that they need to revert in the interest of accountability. We, as people in the devolved, institutions, we have to demand that they tell us. We expect them to provide secondary oversight, and we expect them to do it very well. There are some challenges we've had, like you've had Mheshimiwa Popo has enumerated, the challenge with the oversight. And oversight comes from independence. This issue of ward-based projects, which we are fighting for, it is what is going to increase our independence. We are not interested in controlling that money. We are not even interested in touching that money. What we are interested in is, just like you have said today, Kitambo, it was the CRF. Yeah? Every amount which was sent to the counties went to one account. And the CEC has to sign for it, whether for the assembly or for the executive. But today, we have a situation where the assemblies have their own account. You see? But now we want to go further to the executive account, demand that if there's a ward allocation fund, if every ward is going to get 30 million, or there are some wards which are development-wise were still behind, they're going to give an amount which is better than probably Kilimani or Kileleshwa, where you believe it's more middle class than, there's some which are complete slums like Mabatini, Hospital Ward, Madare North, Madare 4A, and so on. So what we are demanding is that this amount be anchored on the law, so that it is not on the governor that Alaya amenilima sana, ward yake hakuna development. It is the responsibility of Alaya to hold you to account. The fact that Allah is holding you to account should not lead to the punishment of the people of Kilaleshwa. That is what we are arguing. We are not interested in controlling that fund. We are not even interested in touching it. Even if they want to put a committee, I just want to go back to that executive and tell them that, please, the money meant for Kilaleshwa has not come. But now there's no law. If he doesn't give development to Kilaleshwa, I cannot ask him. So we are not interested in anything else, like we want to control a fund. No, we are not interested. In fact, we are not interested in doing what the MPs are doing. That, any patron. We are not interested in being a patron. We are interested in having it in the law.
All right.
So that is the only challenge. And in fact, it will increase the independence. Just like Kitambo, for us to have a salary, the governor can decide 4 months no salary. There is no law.
Akufunze adabu.
Akufunze adabu. Hakuna sheria.
Go and beg.
You go and beg.
All right. Even as we continue this conversation in studio, our viewers and people on the streets of Nairobi are also itching to contribute to the same. Muthoni Brenda is our man on the ground. Muthoni, what are people saying with regard to counties and accountability?
Thank you, my... A very good morning to you once again, Fred Indimuli and the MCAs in studio. We are coming to you live from the bus station here in Nairobi CBD. Na before tufike hiyo maneno ya accountability, Fred Indimuli, sisi kama TV47 tunatakanga evidence kwa karatasi. We talked to one Kenyan who said leo amelipa fare na fare ilikuwa 50 bob na imepanda, Jesus siku zingine analipanga 30 bob. And we said, well, there is only one way to find out. Naona hapa kuna nganya ya City Shuttle. So wacha nione watanilipisha how much kuingia mpaka Kayole Junction. Habari yako? Habari yako?
Nzuri sana.
Ni wewe mwenye unabeba na hii gari?
Ninabeba na hii gari. Naenda upande wa Kangundo Road, Jos Kamara.
Unaweza angalia kamera tafadhali?
Naenda mpaka Jos Kamara. Kupitia Kangundo Road.
Mimi nataka kwenda Kayole Junction. Ni how much?
Kayole Junction ni 50.
50?
Yes.
Mbona ni 50?
Mafuta Kasonga ametuongezea mpaka imefika mahali hata ukienda kufika jioni hauna kitu unapeleka kwa nyumba kwa watoto.
Si unikatie kidogo, nilipishe 30, mimi ni msichana mdogo yawa.
Iwezi kuwezekana kwa sababu tukifika kwa petroli bei iko juu. Ukijaribu kuongea eti urudisiwe chini mafuta, Kasongo naye ametufinya. Live imekuwa mbaya, barabara iko na masimo. Unalipa tax na hatusaidiki na kitu yote kwa barabara. Alituambia anatupeleka Singapore, kumbe anatupeleka kwa simo. Sasa hii nchi hatuoni mahali inaelekea.
Na sasa nikuulize, maoni yako kama madereva au maoni yenu kama madereva na the county government of Nairobi ni yepi?
Government of Nairobi imelala. Kitu ya kwanza imelala. Ukipita kila barabara hapa Nairobi iko na mazimo, maji imejaa kila mahali.
Barabara kama gani for example?
Ukipita kama hii sasa kutoka hapa BS, utaona simo ya kwanza ndio hiyo mahali hiyo gari inaingia. Unaona hiyo ni simo. Usunguka chini mpaka ufike huko City Stadium, masimo ni mingi. Tukirudi Kangundo Road peke yake, masimo zimeenda mpaka hadi Kamuru. So barabara imekuwa mbaya kila mahali. Mafuta imeongeza. Na kila siku hii gari inalipa tax. Kupitia usuru yake inalipa kupitia kwa mafuta. Na hiyo ile inalipa hawatutengenezani mabarabara. So sijui hii Singapore tunapelekwa ni ya kutuua ama ni ya kuua wananchi kwa migongo.
Kwa hivyo wewe unaweza taka county government of Nairobi ifanyie nini?
Yamuke. Wamelala, wamuke waangalie. Wakati wa Kibaki tulikuwa tunaamka asubuhi tunakuta carpet. Barabara zimewekwa carpet. Unaacha simu usiku, asubuhi unapata barabara imewekwa lami. Wakati huu ni kulia tunalia. Barabara inakaa na simu mwaka mzima. Na ingine. Ukienda kama pale country bus, kuna simu imekuwa pale karibu na manual ya sewage. Hiyo simu imekaa mwaka moja na ingine. Hii ni mwaka ya 3 inaenda kukaa nayo. Ichakuwa ilipewa. So sijui huyo Sakaja ameenda akifanya nini.
Na mtajuaje that the county imeamka?
Wakitufunikia masimu watoe hii uchafu yote tunaana hapa kila mahali, tutajua ameamuka. Yes.
Na sasa vile tumeongea tumekuwa marafiki, utanikatia hiyo 50 bob?
Maybe nifikirie kesho. Kesho ukikuja nitayafikiria sababu saa hii ni kubaya.
Sasa mimi siwezi fikisha hiyo 50 bob, acha tu basi niende mguu. Ni kubaya. Well, Fred
anataka kutunyonga kabisa. Ametunyonga kabisa kila mahali imefika. Jioni imagine hii gari inakunywa ngiri 8, mimi napata nikienda na nyumbani 300. 300 ni wife nitaachia ama ni fare anafanya kwa barabara. Juu hata sisi tunalipa fare. Nikienda nyumbani lazima nilipe shilingi 300 kutoka hapa kwenda Kitengela. Nakaa Kitengela. Na gari yangu inalala huko 26 Kamuru. So kutoka hapo mpaka kwangu ni 300. Kurudi. Sasa unaona asubuhi inakosa kuamuka. So ni kugumu. Ni kugumu hii life ya Kasongo. Sioni Singapore yenye tunapelekwa.
Well, Indimuli, there you have it. Nairobians have a lot to say about devolution and about accountability. Back to you in studio.
Well, pole Brenda, ndakutumia 20 bob ufikishe 50 ndio uweze kuenda Kamulu. But wow, ngoja tu show ishe ndakutumia 20 bob. But anyway, clearly, there's a lot of feeling that the county governments should be doing better. I know probably counties outside Nairobi, they have their own pressures, not necessarily the same as Nairobi. But the feeling is that the county governments could do better. And that was the expectation with devolution. Now it would appear we've left it to the national oversight bodies, the Senate and the rest, to do this. Don't you think that by that you're failing in your role as a defender of devolution?
No. I don't think we are failing, Fred, because I want to echo what my colleagues here, my honorable colleagues here are saying.
Don't use the Nairobi as an example. Wameacha shimo pothole zaidi ya mwaka mzima.
I'm not using that. That's not my argument. What my brothers here have just said about a kitty being entrenched in law for the purpose of development in the wards. And I want to tell you, you know, both at CAF, both at the party level, and you know, what I would want to say, because, you know, facts have to be stated the way they are. The greatest support MCAs have received in terms of actualizing what they have been lacing have been from President Ruto's administration. Recently, we went for our party's NDC. And, you know, as the head of the UDMCA caucus, I'm the one who actually got the chance to speak on behalf of all our party's MCs. And I reiterated that issue of financial autonomy, which is coming into effect, because, you know, it could not be affected mid-year, so it is coming in effect when the government year starts. The issue of the ward fund, you know, and, you know, the delay has been caused by, because now, like, that ward development kitty, there has to be some adjustment made at the Senate and the National Assembly. And these things will soon come into effect. You know, they are not things you can just come and the president says, let this happen.
But Bwana Kiruga, I have a question, because you keep referring to the president when you talk about even issues at the county level. Yet we are in a devolved system. Don't you think that this over-endearment to the national government or to the president of the day, that also affects accountability at the county level? Because you are a member of the county assembly, but you've not mentioned your governor even once. You keep talking about President William Ruto.
I have mentioned my governor. I've said in Nyeri, in fact, we have borrowed very heavily from the experience of Nyeri in fighting for these kitties, because you see the current governor started, and I think I've mentioned here, almost in every show I appear in here, that our governor allowed, you know, like my honorable colleague Apopo was saying, if you get a good governor, ours have been a good governor. But the issue is this, friend. You need a lot of goodwill from the national government, from the president himself, from even the governors themselves, from the Senate. This is where you realize you can't go bulldozing your way. You need to be diplomatic to the various, you know, arms of governance. So, why I'm not overdealing myself to the president, no, but I'm in his party, representing
What about counties where MCAs are largely from a different party? Before the broad-based arrangements, ODM was leading quite a number of county assemblies. If at all they are not close to the president, are we saying that their level of accountability at the county level then suffers?
No, you are not getting my point. My point is this. I'm telling you, UDA are now joined by the ODM. We are now the ruling coalition. I'm privileged to be representing my colleagues at the apex decision-making body in the party, and I have to make that one matter. So I'm using that. I'm using that privilege which have been accorded by my party to push for what I know is good for the rest of the MCAs. And what is good for these MCAs is that they are not saying that this money should go to their pockets. Okay. You've heard my colleagues saying that. This is money, or these are funds that will go directly to Wananchi. Because look at the scenario. If we have the over 1,000 wards developing uniformly, for example, we say every ward in the Republic of Kenya will be getting projects worth 50 million, let's say 50 million, that will be going to every ward in this country. The MCA is not touching that money. The MCA is just bringing the project, you know, consulting his people. They bring the projects on the table, like happens in Nyeri. Then they are implemented. We will have one massive growth, and that is how we will head even to Singapore.
And I think this discussion has moved into the political manipulation of counties. Now you are a member of ODM, I presume.
Yes.
And now in the broad-based arrangement. You saw what happened in Nairobi. that now that it's broad-based and no longer ODM and UDA, they can be summoned at State House, national government, and be ordered to go slow on impeaching the governor. Do you think that this kind of politics also affects the way accountability is demanded at the county level? That simply because your governor, Gladys Wanga, is a member of the broad-based arrangement and you're a member of ODM, then no one can touch Gladys Wanga. She's close to the president.
Impeachment is a political process. For example, it's a political process whereby you negotiate. That's why every governor wants his or her MCS of the same party so that he can pass first his policies or our policies and then survive impeachment. So it's Australian everywhere. And I don't think OABE is different from the US or from the UK. Even in the UK, in the US, the Republicans align with the president.
You're admitting that the governor as well, associated with the broad-based arrangement, right now cannot be impeached?
No, they can be impeached. But I'm saying impeachment is a political process. You'll go on to trade. Like the way for Sakaja happened, there was a big trading with the MCS. Alai refused, but still now you are only one. The rest have agreed. You also agree. So it's a normal process. Nonetheless, I want to talk about the issue of people complaining about potholes everywhere. It's all over across the country. First, our road construction system in this country is the worst maybe in a developed country. In a country with such brains, we have the worst kind of road construction. But in urban planning, urbanization was devolved. In 2050, we expect 70% of Kenyans to live in urban areas. Or rather, the world will be urbanized to almost 7%. But there is no proper planning to accept 70% of Kenyans in an urban setting, which will be around 60 million. 50 million people will be in urban centers. So you'll find counties want to just live aimlessly. You go to Aero, there's no planning, and you expect people from all over Kisumu to stay in Aero, Katito, Kisumu, Kombewa, those towns. There's no proper planning to accept people in those towns. And when it comes, the national government is not thinking it that way because these people will still be people of the national government. How will they stay in these towns in the next 50 years? The town should provide housing. The housing, the county governments have left it to the national government, which we should resist. The counties should resist. But people are just agreeing that housing is good for the country. It's good, but should not be done by the national government.
Isn't that affected by the political alignments? Like now, everyone in the broad-based arrangement is okay with the national government taking over housing.
It should be okay. That's why I'm saying the Senate as today constituted in this country, should be disbanded. Senate.
Not the county assemblies?
No. The Senate is not doing its job. They should be in the forefront to resist the national government encroaching into county government functions, housing. There's this issue of called urban roads. Urban roads is still done by Kura. While in OABE, we know that in Dhiwa, for example, is now municipality, we know the urban centers, the urban roads in Dhiwa. But we are leaving them for the next 40 years, people are encroaching into the urban roads. So in 2040, you have to break down people's buildings to create an urban road, while Kura is in Nairobi. They don't know the issues of roads in Sori, for example, in Mavindini, in Makueni, or they don't know the problem in Nyeri, for example. So Kura should be devolved, but the national government is holding on to Kura. If you go to Kera is in national government here. We have roads in the villages that are in planning, they're still a bush. But Kera is in Nairobi. They don't know about those roads. So Kenya is a highly centralized system of government. It's not devolved, by the way. Kenya is not a devolved system of government. If what a devolved system of government,
16 years after
yes,
promulgating
it's not devolved. In fact, the worst thing we did was to allow the first president on devolution, Uhuru Kenyatta, to midwife devolution. Because Uhuru Kenyatta focused more on centralizing more. Uhuru Kenyatta centralized more. And Ruto is fighting Nyayo. We should allow money to go to the counties. We have fuel levy. Where do people run with these cars? In counties. They have refused to give that percentage, that 10 billion, from fuel levy to go to the counties. They're staying with it to
the argument is that if you cannot hold your county governments accountable, why should we give you more money?
Are they holding the national government accountable? The MPs. Are they holding the national government accountable?
Who wrongs don't make a right.
MPs are doing. Counties are doing much better than the National Assembly and accountable by far. Kericho has impeached the governor. He's failed to go. Miro has impeached the governor. Israel has impeached the governor. Have they even tried to impeach the president?
When I lie,
the National Assembly.
Should you be one of the people saying that counties are doing better than the national government? When Nairobi, you were forced into a corporation because of your failure as a county administration.
You know, when you get into politics, you realize the political,
it wasn't failure that led to that corporation. Failure by the county administration.
In fact, you know, if you check on the law, it says that Nairobi, as a capital city, is the only country which can seek help from the national government. So the help wasn't illegal. It was brought in, and also the president saw the sense that 2023 there was a protest in this city. 2024 there was a protest. 2025 there was a protest. So he said that when will you have stability? I can let you guys impeach the governor, but you will follow by a very long process of everybody trying to come in. You know, you'll want the deputy governor to come in. There was also a bit of horse trading. You guys are also politicians. There's a lot of instability. So why don't we help each other? Because the law allows us to. That's what we did. But you know, like Mheshimiwa is saying here, there's some of the functions, you know, the functions of Wakina Tarda, LBDA, Kerio Valley Development Authority. Those are the functions of the counties, the ADCs of this country, Agricultural Development Corporation. In fact, the counties are doing much more with 415 billion, which is also remitted late. You know, some of this money come in 4-5 months later, when they have even gone to banks and sought overdraft. And overdraft facility for Nairobi County, where we spend 1.6 billion every month on salaries alone, for both the executive and the county assemblies, that money, if it arrives late, it brings in a fee of not less than 50 million every month. That fee, we have to factor in how it's going to be brought in. But also, we have to admit that there's also been failures on the counties, like Nairobi, and these are issues which we have prosecuted on this platform for a very long time, the issue of revenue. I believe that Nairobi should be the only county which is supporting other counties, especially the Nairobi metropolis, which we have Kajiado, Machakos, you know, even Narok, we can even Kiambu, near Azia, should be supported by the Nairobi City County. If the revenue gets to 200 billion, now we are just struggling to get to 10 billion, and it is because of how we manage that revenue kit. And I wish that if Nairobians are going to get into the 2027 election, they elect people, not because the people want to be president, because that's a challenge since the inception of devolution.
You're talking about the governors?
Yeah. The first governor, wait first, because the head, you know the head of the county is the governor. The first governor, Kidero, wanted to be president, and he came too close to the presidency. He was very good friend with the president, and that one became the biggest liability he saw. 4 other governors who have come after him didn't learn the lesson. In fact, the sitting governor was called the future president when he arrived and became governor. He has realized that today, even winning an MCA in his own ward of Kilimani might be an uphill task because of the performance. And this is why I said, Nairobians, that if you're electing somebody to be the governor next time, elect him because you want to solve the problems of Nairobians. You know, you integrate the transport system, you ensure that we bring in a security system, not that now we give it to the national government, they bring in the Nairobi metropolis security system, which is a bit, it will work or it will not work, because the Kanjos also have their ways of sabotaging the national government in a way when they want to ensure that they remain with the control. Okay. So we have to find a way of leaving the function of the counties with the county, but making the counties, especially the city counties, because the city counties give the rural counties the national rhythm. And if the city counties perform badly, the national counties...
So if you fail as a member of the County Assembly of Nairobi, you're failing even the other counties?
Yes, yes.
All right. And let's get some feedback. We're receiving a lot of feedback through our SMS line. Where do we have that? Populentana from Migori, Collins Otieno asking, are county funds really really reaching grassroots development in Homa Bay? This one is directed to you, Apopo Lentana, and you will get to respond to that. For Kiroga Dhuku, Jen and Jerry here in Nyeri, how do you ensure accountability in ward development projects? Azima kuna Kileleshwa. Yeah, someone from Westlands. Westlands is not in Kilele, is it? No?
Yes, part of it.
Oh, okay.
Raptor Road.
I'm Sharon Chieng asking, how are residents' views captured during public participation in your ward? So I hope each one of you has gotten your question specifically before we come to the end, your final comments.
I think on the funds reaching to the grassroots, yes, grassroots is really the grass in the village. Yes, the funds are reaching the grassroots through the development because we do roads, we do classrooms, we do water, they are done up to the village level. Up to the village level, literally, it's been up to the village. But if I was asked again, and I went to the 2010 constitution making process, I will ask for federation than devolution. Because what we have today
is not working.
Is a false feeling that there's devolution.
And you feel a federation would work?
A federation, for me, would work so that we have counties. Let me ask you, for example, today, if a county like Nyeri, they have criminals, they have offenders, they are arrested, they are taken to a police station by the national government. They'll go to a prison eating national government food. If there are so many offenders in a county and they go to a prison eating national government food, how will that happen? So let us think of a federation so that counties can make their own money, make their own laws, create their own tax systems, generate more money, and develop. And have a proper assemblies that can oversight, that can control even their own independence without the national government. Because as of now, we have a system whereby we're just surviving because we're just devolving money for salaries to the villages. I earn my salary, I go back, I can buy a big car. We have devolved big cars to the counties, corruption from Nairobi to the counties. We have devolved all the bad ones from national government.
Lack of accountability from the national level has been...
We have taken about to the counties. But get it right, county assemblies have done much more better than National Assembly. And this should go on record. Because we have impeached governors, we have impeached TCMs, we have summoned them to the assembly, we have taken them back to the executive, we have brought them back and given us a report. We have done so much better than National Assembly.
Yeah, thank you. So I think what in line with the question
by
Jerry was asking, you know, what happens, and in saying this, I'm agreeing with my colleagues, devolution has really done tremendous work for our grassroots areas. What happens...
But Apopo disagrees.
No,
there's done much. The money that has been devolved in the last 10 years has done much, but we could do much more better.
Yeah, it can be better. Yeah. So my take is this. You know, like Jelly asks how we consider those projects. You know, for an MCA, it's like even you do public participation on a daily basis because you are interacting with those people on a daily basis. And you get to understand this corner needs this corner needs this. With me, that is how I mostly identify the challenges facing the people. And I bring them to the county, you know, mixed with other public participation. And like I said earlier, you know, I realized our ECD were in dire situation. We have had security challenges with poor writing in some areas. You improve that. Improvement of agriculture, whereby like now we are about to supply the farmers with certified seeds, such issues. And what I would want to reiterate is that in the remaining time between now and the elections, we will continue serving our people. You know, this week I was with AIPCA Archbishop Moburi. He was telling the people, you know, we were in a barrio there in Odaya, that even when elections come, don't just go for political rhetoric. Go for leaders who can work for you. You see? Because you realize in our area, at times rhetoric seems to, to get better of things. But I would like to say, I'm very, very proud of the work we've been able to do there, both for my ward, both for my county, even at the national level. We've really fought to have, MCAs serving their people even better. I think now by June, because the government here ends in June, we expect to see the coming to effect of the autonomy, that autonomy, the financial autonomy law should come into effect at the start of the government year.
Financial year.
Yeah, and because these MCAs work very hard, we had even a proposal that their job grade should be looked into because they do a lot of work on the ground. And indeed, at times, MCAs are even more effective than members of the National Assembly. I am not trying to downgrade the work of members of the National Assembly. I would want to become one. Actually, I might be going for a member of National Assembly in the next elections. But if things are to work well for our society, we need to strengthen the positions of devolution and the position of MCAs in our country.
I'll answer your question, the one directed to you, by that lady from Westlands.
No, I'm very happy that she has raised the issue of the public participation because, and it is a preaching which I've done, especially for us who lead wards where we have more people in the middle class. Public participation has been a very big challenge for that community, and because sometimes when we call it at the county level, they consider the seat of the MCA too junior for the engagement level. And we try to tell them that, public participation is what will control. Me as the MCA, I'm not the ultimate authority. With the participation of the residents, in fact, Kenya, with the devolution, we have villages, including in urban centers. We have villages in Kileleshwa, villages in Kilimani, and so on. So these villages need to have a voice on whatever is happening in those communities. And that's why when I got into power, I tried to activate some of the neighborhood associations, the resident associations, to ensure that they participate. But when you call for a public participation, including for the budget, you don't get a turnout of even 10 people.
What happened to that process, though? Because it is vital even at the county level for public participation.
But the middle class, I think, is just detached from the political processes in this country. And sometimes it pains you because a ward like Kileleshwa has ample talent. We have engineers, we have architects, we have surveyors, we have lawyers, we have even judges, cabinet secretaries. These people can come in and even make the public engagement very robust. But unless something affects, unless a developer digs a house and it affects their compound, they are not going to turn up. And it pains me, but I'm very impressed in other sense that Kileleshwa wards in the ongoing, because election is also public participation. The ongoing voter registration, out of the 12,000 registered voters in Dagoretti North, more than 3,200 have come from Kileleshwa. Compared to other wards, I think because Kileleshwa was not the most popular as voters was. So I think it's very impressive that highlighting the issue of Kileleshwa has brought it also to there's a lot of interest, and that makes it very active, and I hope that people are going to participate more, especially people in Westlands, part of Kileleshwa, the Raptor Road, the Mutangari Drive areas, the Lavington parts of Kileleshwa. There's a lot of increased participation, the Riverside. I'm very happy, and I still encourage them. I don't fault them, but I'll encourage them that if they don't participate, it is not me the ultimate authority. And some of the developments, if I go and try to stop them without their voice, it will look like it is my interest to stop them and not the interest of the residents.
All right. And we were to look at a traffic update from Kiambu Road. I'm told there's a massive traffic along Kiambu Road. Yes, those are live pictures from a section of Kiambu Road, especially those heading towards town. You can see it's bumper to bumper. Na ni kama imepotea hiyo picha, lakini yes. So, where exactly on Kiambu Road? I think the traffic after DCI, that valley after DCI, between DCI and the area before you get to Muthaiga North Road, I think those heading towards town are getting an easier time. having an easier time as opposed to those even heading towards Kiambu. So those are just live pictures by our team. Allow me to give my panelists about 30 seconds each, because there's another issue that has come up to do with the governors, especially those interested, and they have already done 2 terms. They're interested in now going for the elective seats like the Senate seats, National Assembly and others. Some probably even members of County Assembly. Do you agree with that, or should they be denied that chance? Make it very brief, Apopo.
I think I agree with the proposition that a governor who has served 2 terms or who has served a term should take 5 years break before going to the Senate. Okay. Because if there is a chance for accountability issues, it can be still asked in that period. So if it goes to the Senate, it can compromise that chance.
What about other elective positions?
No, you can go to the National Assembly.
Okay.
Even MCA, maybe you shouldn't go to the MCA because the MCA still is a primary officer to the county. Nonetheless, I think governors should be people who are executive. They should act executive. They should be apolitical. They should serve the people.
Okay.
Most governors are busy. They want to be president. They want to be something up here. So the most of the time, I want them to copy from our good governor from Murang'a. So busy in the village, working for the people. He has no time to come to Nairobi to be in national government, national policy. So I think governors should focus in being in their counties to serve their residents and work for the interests of the community that they have been elected to serve.
Thank you, Popo. Robert, what do you think about that?
I think that the governors must be barred from ever contesting to be senators or MCAs, because those 2 institutions provide oversight, and sometimes oversight does not come within the 5-year period. It comes even later, 10-year period, and some things. You know, the issues.
So they should not be bad, or should be bad?
They should be bad. They should be bad. They should not be allowed to come back and be MCAs or become senators. And you know, sometimes you compromise the whole process. And I'm seeing a situation where the governors become too lonely, that, and it happened with the situation of governor of Mombasa County, Joho, where he thought that he was a governor at a very early stage, where he was just getting into his 40s and already has served 2 terms. And he say, okay, what do I do now? So until the opportunity to be in the broad-based arrangement, so broad-based was a blessing to some, you know. So and I find it very unfortunate. Even the situation of Governor Wasin Gishu, who is a senator now. I think Ali Roba, also the governor of Mandera, who is a senator now. I think it's very unfortunate. You know, it is not something personal, but I think the arrangement of governance requires that we separate some of these things. And if you have become a governor, if you know that you'll go back and you'll be lonely, know that by the time you become a governor, I don't expect you to campaign while you're a governor to be president, because that means also you'll not be serving. But by the time you become a governor, finish your term and look for something else. But please don't go back to the assemblies.
Don't go back to the county assembly. Final word only, about 20 seconds.
Thank you. I don't think practically governors can become MCAs, but personally, to be fair to the governors, I think they should be allowed to vie, let the people decide, so that if someone have worked well and we have proper checks and balances, they can serve very well in those positions.
It doesn't affect accountability at the Senate level?
I don't think so, because look at a person like Governor Roba. When we went to CAF, he heads the financial committee in the Senate. He have really helped us in this quest for, financial autonomy for the county assemblies. So, and once it appears like a governor cannot go somewhere else, we might even have governors, even if you get a bad governor, they want to root, because it is like the terminal engagement of their political career. So let's allow them, if they can work well, and people, people always know this can work, this cannot work, let's leave it to the people to decide.
I think that's
and create parameters, so that they do their work properly.
Fred, you can't say that a governor will loot because he's finished his term.
Those are realities of our country.
Designed to the world that governors will loot because they finish their term.
Thank you so much. Asante sana Kiruga Dhuku.
Affect their work.
Kiruga Dhuku is the MCA Shinga Ward in Nyeri. County is also a member of the UDA party, NEC. Thank you so much. Apopo Lentana Agauz, MCA Kanyadoto ward in Homa Bay County, and Robert Alai, MCA Kilelesho ward here in the great city county of Nairobi. Asanteni so much for your time at TV47 and for your contribution on this issue of accountability at the county's level. What do you think? This conversation will continue online through our social media pages. After the break, we switch gears and talk matters health. Ann Odida will be having a doctor in studio discussing issues around pneumonia. Do stand by for that. We still have pictures of Kiambu Road and the traffic situation there. Bumper to bumper at DCI heading towards Kiambu town. Na sijui ni kwa nini watu wakienda Kiambu ndio inashikana kuliko wale wanaenda town. So people are having it easier going to Kiambu. Ama wanatoroka huko kwa kina Alai. Wakienda upande ingine. Kwa kina Alai ilisemekana portal ni kubwa sana. Anyway, that's has been a State of the Nation. Asanteni sana. My name is Fred Indimuli. Good morning.